What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight... Okay, hey, why not? Sure. Yeah, making his debut on the channel tonight, we have the one and only Bruce Dickinson. Yes, indeed. How about that? Bruce Dickinson making his debut on the channel. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all the clicks and the likes and the bibbity bop, do me a favor. Before you do all that stuff, please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Daniel Wenner, and Daniel wanted to see me react to this song. It is Bruce Dickinson with a tune called Accident of Birth. Now, have I heard the song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, hold on a second, hey now, I recognize that song, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I am aware of Bruce Dickinson's solo career. I remember I heard some things about it. I've heard both sides. I've heard it get a lot of praise, and I've also heard it just get absolutely destroyed. The funny thing is, there doesn't seem to be any middle ground. It's either people absolutely think it's brilliant or people think it's absolutely terrible. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how this is gonna go with me. I guess we'll see how this goes. Let's see. This was posted by Lyrics World HUN. Okay, and the video has 183 views. That's it? 183 views? That's weird. Well, yeah, that's not gonna get you there. Sorry. Look, look. Maybe this was just posted recently when the requester made this, and maybe it just got posted like that day. That's always a possibility. But as it stands right now, though, with 183 views, it's not gonna get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. A link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Bruce Dickinson, Accident of Birth lyrics. So is this a lyric video? We know how those go, don't we? Sometimes the lyrics are on the screen, sometimes they're down in the description. So I don't know what to wait and see how this goes, I guess. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Journey back to the dark side, back into the womb, back to where the spirits move like vapor from the tomb, the center of the cyclone, blowing out the sun, break the shackles of your union to the light. As I was born, they dragged him under to the other side of twilight. He's waiting for me now. Nativity was lost on me. I didn't ask, I couldn't see. What created me? What and where and how? Welcome home. It's been too long. We've missed you. Welcome home. We've opened up the gate.
Okay. I'm going to be honest with you, folks. It's not at all what I was expecting. I was expecting it to, and I know this is going to sound very stereotypical, but knowing Bruce Dickinson's history with Iron Maiden, I'm a little surprised that the song doesn't sound anything like Iron Maiden. Nothing like Iron Maiden. But then again, I guess I really shouldn't be surprised because most of the songwriting for Iron Maiden is done by Steve Harris. And he has a very distinct style of writing. Gone are the unison melodic lines and the harmonic lines and the subharmonic lines and the counter-melodic lines and counter-harmonic lines, all in unison. You know, none of that's happening in here. None of that's happening here like we usually hear in Iron Maiden. I'm not hearing any unison lines at all, really. There was like one part, I think, in the pre-chorus where we heard a unison line, but that was it. Other than that, it's just been chugging away on the. Well, I mean, it is unison, but everybody's playing the same chords. It's chords. Ja, 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 ja. You know, it's 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. It's all based around the 16ths. As far as the chordal progression goes, very simple. Very simple. The entire verse is on the root. Everything's based on the root. The funny thing is the pre-chorus, and this is what I found kind of interesting. The pre-chorus is all based on the 5th, except for the very last measure, which progresses to the 6, to the 7, to the root. The chorus is root based. There's in the beginning of the second half of the phrase, it drops down to the 7 for the first half of the second half, but then the second half of the second half, so the last quarter, it goes back up to the root again to resolve. Very, very easy, very, very simple chordal progressions, but I like it. And I like it because of the subdivision work, that 16th note pattern, ja, 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 ja. Really, really nice. And also, in the chorus, they went into that halftime feel, which really made a big difference. If they had stayed on the straight time feel like they did for the verse and the pre-chorus, the chorus, I think, quite possibly could have gotten lost within the song because there wouldn't have been anything to make it stand out from the verse. The verse and the chorus would have ended up sounding the exact same. But because they did the halftime feel on the chorus now stands on its own. It stands apart from the rest of the song, but not in a disjointed way, not in a way that's going to make it feel like it's not a part of the song. Just it's going to sound like a different part of the same song. So I think that's awesome. It's simple, yes, but it's very effective and it's flowing really well. I'm digging what I'm hearing. My only complaint in the beginning, you saw me make that kind of sour face. I was like, I don't know about that. The vocal effect they put on Bruce's vocals, I was not a fan of that. Sounded like a phaser, either a phaser or a flanger, one of the two, and it just did not, I didn't like it. I think it really kind of thinned out his voice more than it needed to be. Once they got rid of the effect, like once they actually kicked into the second verse, I was fine. I was totally fine with his voice after that. Yeah, but the beginning with that effect, not a fan. Not a fan at all. Let's see how this goes. Straight ahead drum pattern.
Feel our bodies breathing as you try to stop believing. There's nothing you can do about your shadows. You can't fight us, you are like us, and your body will betray you. Lay down and die like all the others. Where are the angels and their wings of freedom? Jesus had his day off when they pulled you through.
Halftime?
Welcome home. It's been too long we've missed you. Welcome home. We've opened up the gates. Welcome home to your brothers and sisters. Welcome home to an accident of
I just figured it out. So I was thinking to myself, something's awkward about the chorus. Just a little awkward. It's not even in a bad way. It's in a way that gets your attention. If you listen to the chorus that we just heard, go back and listen to it. It's 8, root, root, 8, root, root, 8, root, root, 8. So down, 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 down. It's E. Oh. No, I think it's E flat. I think it's C sharp. Hold on, let me. Yeah, it's D sharp. Okay. So it's in D sharp, but they're playing on octaves. So 8, 1, 1, 8, 1, 1, 8, 1, 1, 8, 1, 1, 8. The funny thing is, when they go into the second half of the chorus, they'll drop it down, but it's 7. So instead of 7, but here's the thing: instead of 8, it's 7, but it's still root root. It doesn't drop down to the 7 underneath the root. So it's 7, root root 7, root root 7, root root 7, and then back up to the octaves. 8, root root 8, root root 8. But the root never changes. So it's literally D sharp on the 8 down to the D sharp on the octave. D sharp, D, D sharp, 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 D. But then when they switch down to the C sharp, it doesn't go to the low C sharp. It stays on the root D sharp. It's kind of it's not bad. It's not displeasing. It's not unpleasant, but at the same time, it does kind of make you go, what? What was that? Wait a minute. That's different. I mean, there's a lot of bands that have done that in the past. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot simpler to do that. It is, especially if you're playing detuned and you got that open E down there on that bottom string that's been detuned down to D sharp, obviously. But if you have that detuned down and it's already open anyway, it's a lot easier to just, bar from the 7th fret to the 5th to get the chords and then have that open E down there. It's a lot easier to play. Granted, it is. And like I said, from a audio standpoint, it doesn't sound bad. It doesn't sound unpleasant. It just sounds a little bit, I don't even know if awkward would be the right word to say. I don't think awkward's the right word. I think awkward's too strong of a word. It just sounds a little different, I guess is the best way to put it. A little unexpected. How about that? We'll go with that. Anyway, do we have a guitar solo? I don't know. Let's find out if we do or not. If we do, this would be the place to put it. Right here? We do. Okay. Interesting ending. Not at all what I was expecting for the ending. I was expecting that to go back into the main riff and then pull a fade from there, but they never went back to the main riff. They literally went from chorus to final downbeat, the last note, and then just held. And sustained and let it fade. Interesting. Okay. No, this was a good listen. This was definitely a good listen. I've never heard any of Bruce Dickinson's solo stuff before. I've been aware of it, but I've never heard any of it. Now I can say I've heard something. Let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review, and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Bruce Dickinson with Accident of Birth. This was a request from Daniel Wenner. Okay, I thought about it, but I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I didn't really have to think very long. This score came to me, seriously, about 2 minutes into my reflection on the song, and the score never changed. I mean, I spent about 5 minutes thinking about it, but seriously, after the first 2 minutes, the score popped in my head, and it never changed. It never changed. No matter what I thought about, it stayed. So this is the score it was meant to get. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that a 7.4. Yep, 7.4. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
First of all, it's a really good song. It is. I mean, I know I've heard both sides of the argument, and I've heard it myself personally, from people that I personally know, to reviews I've read, to comments I've seen on the internet. You know, I've seen both sides, and it's very polarizing. It's seriously, it's either you love it or you hate it. And that's very funny to me because I don't put myself in either of those categories. I will say I liked it. I enjoyed it. Absolutely. Would I ever say I love this? No, I don't know if I would go that far, but I definitely liked it. So I guess I'm the only one. The song itself, very simple. Very simple. I think this is part of the reason why it's so polarizing for people. I think when people heard that Bruce Dickinson was going to do a solo career, they were expecting him to follow the path that he's had of success by following the same footsteps and the same blueprint pattern that Iron Maiden has had for the last 40 some odd years, where they have very intricate, melodic lines and very intricate unison lines with, the melodies and the harmonies and the counter melodies, and all these unison lines between guitar and bass, all playing together, all three guitars playing together with the bass, all doing these unison runs and stuff like that, and playing around with odd time signatures and odd not time changes, key changes and stuff like that. I think that's what people were expecting. And instead, we got a very straight ahead style of songwriting. Literally, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, solo, chorus, chorus, end. It is so simplistic in the song structure, and even more so within the chordal progression. I mean, we literally did a lot of root. We did a lot of well, it's E flat, it's D sharp, but it's still the same thing. It's root. It's like all root based up to the 5 for the pre-chorus, back down to the root for the chorus. It's just like, wow. This is very, very simplistic compared to what we've heard from Iron Maiden, and I think that's where a lot of the negativity came from, is because it was quite the departure from what they're used to hearing Bruce Dickinson sing with Iron Maiden. And I can see a lot of Iron Maiden purists being very upset with this. I can see that. I can absolutely see that happening. The problem is those purists, and I'm not trying to be rude, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but those purists really need to get over themselves. Look, it's still Bruce Dickinson. He's just doing something different from what Iron Maiden does. Now, this works twofold. One, it gives Bruce Dickinson a creative outlet to do something that he wants to do and play a style of music and sing a style of music that is different from Iron Maiden, that he desperately feels the need to get out of his system and play and produce and have some fun with. And at the same time, here's the twofold, without putting that onto Iron Maiden and changing Iron Maiden's sound and changing Iron Maiden's songwriting style and changing Iron Maiden's way of playing music and writing music and performing music. So in a way, he's saving Iron Maiden by keeping Iron Maiden while he does his own thing. I don't understand why people have such a problem with that. I'll give you an example. I keep referring back to this band, but guys, it's the best band to refer to in this case. Look at Kiss. You guys, I know you don't want to remember these, and I don't blame you because for the most part, 3 out of the 4 albums were absolutely terrible. Look at the Kiss solo albums, okay? Peter, Chris, and Ace Frehley were miserable in Kiss. Don't ask me why. They had the life while they were original founding members. Now, once they quit, they left, and they lost that privilege. I don't care what people say, man. You leave, you're no longer a founding member. You leave, you're done. You can come back, but you're no longer a founding member. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. Anyway, Peter and Ace, very unhappy in Kiss in 1978. They weren't thrilled with where the music was going. They weren't thrilled with the direction Kiss was going. They had written their own songs. They're not getting enough of their own songs on the Kiss albums. They're really frustrated about that. So they wanted to leave and do, some solo work and do some solo albums. Well, Gene and Paul, being the brilliant minds that they are in business, and because, let's be honest, they're both greedy, they said, look, why don't we all release solo albums? We'll all do our own solo albums, and we'll all put them under the Kiss banner, which Gene and Paul both own, so they get all the copyrights and they get all the royalties and stuff. So Ace and Peter agree to that, and they all record their own solo albums. Well, let's be honest about that, folks. 3 out of the 4 albums were just absolute garbage. The only album, and I wasn't even the biggest fan of it, but I do see the value in it. The only album out of those 4 that was really worth anything was Ace's album. It was the most rock album that there was. I mean, I will say, Paul Stanley did have a couple of tracks. Like the first 2 tracks on the album were rocking tracks. The rest of the album wasn't a fan of. Ace's album was pretty much pure rock and roll, and I really liked his album for that reason. And also, out of the 4 solo albums, which album had the only song that was a big hit for Kiss? You got it, Aces with New York Groove. So some good things came out of there with the solo albums. But if you listen to the solo albums, do any of those albums, other than Aces, do any of those albums scream Kiss to you? No, they don't. Gene's very, very avant-garde, very out there. And I love Gene Simmons, I do, but at the same time, that was, in my opinion, I think it was the worst album out of the 4. Peter's was very jazz-oriented, very like jazz / pop / soul-oriented. Paul's was weird. I mean, there were a lot of ballads on it, but I mean, he did have those 2 rockers. Aces is the only album that really sounded like a Kiss album. But you see what I mean, though? It gave everybody a creative outlet to do what they want to do without taking away from Kiss as a unit, as a whole. Same thing here with Bruce and Iron Maiden. I get it. I absolutely get it. I see the reasoning for it, and I have nothing against it. I have no problem with it. So it's really interesting to hear a lot of people, oh, he's destroying Iron Maiden by doing this solo work. I don't see how. There's no correspondence. There's no correlation between the 2. There's no link between the 2 other than the name Bruce Dickinson, who is known as the lead singer of Iron Maiden, but he's not doing an Iron Maiden album. He's doing his own thing. So why the hate? I don't get it. No, like I said, the album, the song here was really good. I thought it was really good. I wouldn't say it's great, but it is really good. I talked about a number of things during the reaction. Let me just touch on some bullet points. The chordal progression, very easy to follow. The vocals, nicely done, not over the top, a little more straight ahead than what we usually hear from Bruce Dickinson. I wasn't a fan of the vocal effect at the very beginning, that flange slash phaser effect. Luckily, he didn't use it for very long. Oddly enough, when he came back in the second verse, you heard that backmask effect. I liked that. I thought that was very appropriate for coming into the verse. But once the verse started, the backmasking effect was taken away. Song structure I talked about already. Very simple, very easy to follow. Very typical Blueprint. What else? The guitar solo, I mean, it was good. I wouldn't say it was anything all that impressive. The last progression with the 16th note pattern they did, this little 16-note run, that was nice. That was cool to hear. The ending, a little awkward, not at all what I was expecting. I was expecting them to go back into the main riff and then hit the final chord and let that sustain and let that fade, but instead we just got the fade right as soon as the second chorus ended. I was like, a little awkward, but it worked. No, overall, I think it's a really good song. I think it's a really good song, and I don't understand, why people have this division, I guess is the best way to put it, of opinion, and it's a very, very different opinion. I feel like I'm the only person I know that has ever said, I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. And that's not what I usually hear. It's either they can't stand it or they absolutely love it. And I'm just like, there's got to be some middle ground here, right? There's got to be. So maybe I'm the first one to just put that middle ground out there and say, I like it. It is nice. I will listen to this again. Yeah, absolutely, I would listen to this again. If the mood struck me, you better believe it. But yeah, 7.4, a really good score for what I feel is a really good song. So, 7.4, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.